Oh man, you made it just in time. I'm really excited about this one. I actually had this on pre-order from Amazon.com and it finally arrived. It's the new Logitech mouse, the MX Anywhere 3. Of course I know this because I peeked inside the box. So let's open it. Get this baby out. There it is. Not much to the packaging. They actually call it responsible packaging on their website. This was just released on October the 5th of 2020. I've been waiting because my previous mouse that died was actually the original version of this, and I loved that mouse. It would track on anything. Of course, that's why they call it the Anywhere. It comes in 3 different colors: a pale gray, which looks white, graphite, which looks dark gray, and rose. I picked the dark gray or graphite. Isn't she pretty? Actually looks more of a regular gray. It doesn't look as dark gray in this as it actually is. Maybe it's my lighting is just bleaching it out a little bit. But there's the receiver. Here I'm struggling to figure out if there's anything else hidden in the box. Finally figure out how to get that off. And it's pretty simple. Just a little sleeve that has their website address for the software if you need it. Charging cable. Pretty standard cable. You can charge it with your cell phone cable if you want. Nothing else up the sleeve. Get rid of that. All right, so this is just a little advertisement for one of their new keyboards. Some instructions on how to replace the battery if you ever need to in the future. They say the battery should last 10 years. I hope so. By then I may just buy another mouse. Some basic instructions. Kind of a quick start guide. Otherwise I'm kind of getting a feel for the weight. It is just a little bit lighter than the original version. The original version had 2 AA batteries. This has a rechargeable battery built in. USB-C for charging. They claim that you can get 70 hours on a charge, and you should get 3 hours of use out of a 1-minute charge. They claim that you can use the mouse while you're charging it, so there's no loss to your workflow. And this is marketed as a compact mouse that you can take anywhere and use on business trips. It's supposed to make it easy to pack it on a trip on an airplane. You know, it's a little bit smaller and easy to tote around. Now, I admit I've always been a fan of Logitech mice, and I'm going to bring in some others just for a size comparison. That's the Logitech M317. That's the original Performance MX mouse. And I've got a Vic Sing mouse that I bought whenever my original Anywhere mouse died, so I needed a replacement. So I'll bring that in any moment now. Maybe not. There it is. Okay. That's the Vic Sing mouse that I've been using while I've been waiting for this new mouse to arrive. It's got a place underneath for its receiver. That's what I pointed at with my thumb there, but I only pointed at that because this new one does not have a place to put the receiver. But anyway, let's look at the size. It's little bit smaller than that Vixing, roughly the same length as that small little compact mouse. So this is what I'm going to compare it against, just because roughly the same size, I would say. I feel like, anyway. Maybe it's a better comparison against the 317. I don't know, but the little compact mouse does not have the back and forward buttons on the side that the Vixing and this new Anywhere mouse has. Of course, the large Performance MX has those buttons, but it's too big to tote around in my laptop bag. So this software popped up on my laptop after I plugged it in and had been using it for a little while. So let's install it and see what it's all about. I wasn't sure at first if it was just going to be to custom program the buttons, but it turns out it was actually kind of a cool little program, so we'll get into it here. So welcome to Logitech Options. Do we want to help them improve their products? Sure, I'll send them some data about my usage. Doesn't have anything personal in it, so what the heck. So we're installing it. We'll skip ahead here. Okay. Pardon the wheel of hope. And loading, there we go. Okay, so we're going to go ahead and create an account. And I will fast forward through this. Okay, so I didn't fast forward, I just skipped it all together, but there wasn't much to see. Just put in your name, your email address, and what password you want. So do I want to stay up to date? I skipped that. I've got enough spam. I don't know about you, but I don't need all the advertisements and whatnot that they're going to send you. So all right, let's continue. They're going to go through the list of features. This mag speed scroll wheel, electromagnetic control on that scroll wheel. I'll talk more about that later. The mode shift button to turn that on and off, and the horizontal side scroll and how that works with your back and forward buttons on the side to scroll left and right. Of course, you can customize those for whatever app you're in, back and forward in your browser, or undo and redo in Excel. Predefined settings for whatever app you want to use. They've got all kinds of settings out there for mapping your wheels and your buttons for different things. So, okay, let's continue to install. I'm not using Office, so I end up unchecking all of these. All right, we're all set. So here we have the option for swapping your left and right buttons if you want to. We're going to click on more. There really isn't anything to change in here. I mean, I would want it to notify me if my battery was getting low, so we'll leave that checked. There's information about storing your backups in the cloud and whether or not you want automatic updates to the software. I leave that enabled. And of course, analytics is where you can go to turn that off if you don't want it to send any more information to them. It's just supposed to help their software development team, but people get a little worried about that, so you could have just unchecked that. So let's go here and talk about changing your pointer speed. So how fast your mouse moves. The scroll force, I found that strangely entertaining, but it changes that scroll wheel and what do we want to call that? The clickiness of it as you scroll. But if you crank it all the way up, it it gets noticeably harder to scroll. I mean, it puts some force. That electromagnet in that thing really pulls on it and makes it harder to scroll. If you scroll it all the way to the left on that setting, it makes it really easy or almost non-existent. So what is smooth scrolling? Well, it says Logitech Smooth Scrolling delivers smooth as smartphone scrolling, and without it, web pages typically scroll in choppy 3-line increments. So it's up to you if you want to use that or not. It certainly sounds fancy, doesn't it? Scroll wheel direction is just that. You can reverse it if you don't like the way it works. You know, if you want to pull back on the wheel to scroll up on a page, that would be where you change that. And I enabled the horizontal scroll. And that smart shift is whenever you scroll this wheel really fast, it will switch from that ratchet mode to the smooth scrolling, or whatever you want to call it, where it just lets go, the magnet lets go and lets it just freely spin, so you can scroll 1,000 lines all at once. So that's what those settings are all about. And this is Logitech Flow, so if you have more than one computer, you can, almost like a virtual desktop, you can move your mouse to the edge of the screen and then it'll pop up on the other computer. I don't have multiple computers, so I'm not going to mess with this. Someone else will have to help you with that if it's something that you need. So what else have we got? Let's go back to these settings. All applications, you can add another application if you have something like Photoshop that you want to set up some custom configurations for. So this would be where you would go to install that profile. So I'm not going to do that right now. Sorry if you needed that. If you need help with that, I'm sorry. I'm going to move on. I don't have Photoshop or any other programs to really show you right now. I might end up messing with GIMP or something in the future, but all right, so let's get out of this. We're done. So let's talk about using it. So again, this is that other mouse. I've got the sensor plugged in, or the receiver plugged in to the other USB port on my laptop, so I can use both mice at the same time. So we can really kind of talk about the differences between a standard mouse and this anywhere mouse, the whole point of upgrading to this $80 mouse. So right there you could see that standard mouse, it skipped right then. It kind of got stuck. Honestly, that Victing mouse isn't that bad for a $10 mouse. I didn't even really notice that it was not as smooth as my old anywhere mouse until I got this new one. The scroll wheel, it's got different settings. I'm showing you the different mouse sensitivity or DPI settings. You can press that button on the top of it to change it, and then all of a sudden it gets higher and higher, or lower and lower DPI, and then boom, really high DPI. So really, I don't know. It's not something I use, so it's more of a gadget to me, but I just needed the side buttons. But anyway, moving on. How does a regular mouse track on glass? Or I didn't have glass, so I had plexiglass, and it's got scratches on the surface of this thing. So this can actually kind of track on this surface. So you might notice it skip a little bit here and there. So maybe it wasn't the perfect test, but so yeah, so you could see it's not perfect. So let's give you something that doesn't have any scratches. So here's just my cell phone. You can see there's no response. It can't track at all on glass. Tracks just fine on the desktop. Yeah, nothing doing. Yep, see, still works just fine on a normal desktop. So let's switch to the anywhere mouse. Now, of course, it's amazing. I don't know how they do it, but it's just so smooth. Yeah, okay, we got it. It's Skippy. Yeah. So let's move on here, buddy. We got it. I'm trying to make it skip. I'm trying to make it really obvious. But I'm going super slow. You're getting sleepy. Sleepy. I'm going to count back from 10, 9. Oh my God. Okay. Put it down. Let's move on. Nope. Oh, that's right. I turned it over. Fewer scratches on the back of this. And it skips a lot on the back of this. I think it can still read some surface scratches. So I don't know. I was actually kind of impressed that it was able to do as well as it did on that. But of course, the Anywhere mouse, beautiful, silky smooth, and back and forth. I'm trying to hypnotize you again. Actually, I'm trying to find a place where it skips, but nothing. Okay. All right, done playing with that. Let's whip out the cell phone. See what it does on glass. Something with no scratches to read. Look at that. This thing is freaking magic. It works on a perfectly smooth surface. Yeah, it's just amazing. And that's, again, why I was willing to spend so much more on this mouse. This thing, it just does not skip a beat. I was getting frustrated with that other mouse because I was doing work with some 3D editing programs, some video editing programs, some image editing programs, and I was sitting on the couch with my laptop and I had this pillow I was using to elevate it, and it would not track on that pillow. And it was just super frustrating. And then I saw the announcement, they're coming out with the new Anywhere 3. I was like, oh, okay, I'm going to have to buy that thing, and I'm going to have to do a review on it once I get it. So, all right, come on. Okay, so let's move on to the way it sounds. That scroll wheel is just so quiet, you couldn't hardly hear it. Man, it's crazy. Now see, that's the old Performance MX. It has such a loud scroll wheel. And that's a mechanical scroll wheel. Hear that? It's just noisy. And that's why they moved to this new mag technology. It's so much quieter. It's so smooth. This is that little portable mouse. See, it's noisy too, comparatively. So that's what they sound like, dragging them across the tabletop. So about the same. A little bit quieter just because it's new. This is just a close-up to show that mag speed wheel in action. So what it does is it switches from line by line scrolling to free spinning when you scroll it faster. So you can kind of see once it slows down, maybe at this angle you'll be able to see it a little bit better. Once that wheel slows down enough, the magnet kicks in and switches it back to line by line scrolling. And you can hit that button to just switch it to free spinning all the time. So that's kind of what that's showing, is it's always free spinning until you hit that button and switch it back. So let's hit the button. You can kind of tell that I'm getting a little resistance until you spin it fast enough, and then it switches to free spinning. Now in that software you can adjust the sensitivity of that if you want it to switch easier or not switch so quickly. So here's the slow motion video of when that magnet kicks in. You can see it right there kind of kick in and catch that, and it kind of wiggles back and forth. That's just a slow motion eye candy. But using it, I mean, here's some little Minecraft, but it tracks great. It feels great. I'm really happy with it. It's really kind of up to you. I mean, as far as the price, I think that's probably the biggest thing that would hold me back from buying one, is the price. It is a little bit more expensive, but if you're like me and you get frustrated with it not tracking on whatever surface you're using, then I feel like it's worth it. I'm really happy with it. So that's it. If you're interested, I will have a link in the description. So if you want to use that, it's an affiliate link. You know, I'll get a little bit if you use it. Not much. They don't give you much, but if you use that link to go buy the mouse, that would be great. I'd appreciate it. It'll help my channel out. But otherwise, I'm a big fan. I'm a big fan of this new mouse. I'm hoping it'll last 10 years like my old one did. So, okay, if you found that useful, please like, subscribe, ring the bell so you can get notified of any future videos that I do, and I will see you next time.